Chapter 3. John Ferrier Talks with the Prophet. 3 weeks had passed since Jefferson Hope and his comrades left Salt Lake City. John Ferrier felt a heavy weight in his heart when he thought of the young man's return and the impending loss of his adopted child. Yet, seeing Lucy's bright and happy face reconciled him to the arrangement more than any argument could have. He had always been determined, deep in his resolute heart, that he would never allow his daughter to marry a Mormon. He regarded such a union not as a marriage at all, but as a shame and a disgrace. On that one point, he was inflexible. However, he had to keep his opinions to himself. In those days, expressing an unorthodox view in the land of the saints was a dangerous matter. Yes, dangerous. So dangerous that even the most devout whispered their opinions with bated breath, fearing that a stray word might be misinterpreted and bring down swift retribution. The victims of past persecution had now become persecutors themselves, and of the most terrifying kind. Neither the Spanish Inquisition nor the secret societies of Italy ever moved with a more formidable or invisible machinery than that which cast a shadow over the state of Utah. The organization's invisibility and mystery made it doubly terrifying. It seemed all-knowing and all-powerful, yet it was neither seen nor heard. Anyone who opposed the church simply vanished. No one knew where they went or what had happened to them. Their families waited at home, but the fathers never returned to tell their stories. A rash word or a hasty act resulted in total annihilation, yet the nature of this looming power remained a mystery. It was no wonder that men lived in fear and trembling, never daring to whisper their doubts even in the heart of the wilderness. At first, this power was used only against those who had embraced the Mormon faith and later tried to abandon it. Soon, however, it spread. There was a shortage of marriageable women, and polygamy was a hollow doctrine without a female population to sustain it. Strange rumors began to circulate, stories of murdered immigrants and looted camps in areas where no Indians lived. New women appeared in the households of the elders, women who wept constantly and bore the marks of an unquenchable horror on their faces. Travelers in the mountains spoke of armed, masked men flitting through the darkness. These rumors eventually coalesced into a terrifying name, the Day-Night Band, or the Avenging Angels. Knowing more about the organization only increased the horror. No one knew who belonged to this ruthless society. The names of those who committed acts of violence in the name of religion were a profound secret. The very friend to whom you confessed your doubts about the prophet might be one of those who would return at night with fire and sword. Consequently, every man feared his neighbor, and no one spoke of what was truly in their heart. One fine morning, John Ferrier was about to head to his wheat fields when he heard the click of the gate. Looking through the window, he saw a stout, sandy-haired, middle-aged man walking up the path. His heart jumped into his throat. It was the great Brigham Young himself. Filled with dread, for he knew such a visit meant trouble, Ferrier ran to the door. The Mormon leader received his greeting coldly and followed him sternly into the living room. "Brother Ferrier," Young began, sitting down and eyeing the farmer keenly, "the true believers have been good friends to you. We found you starving in the desert, shared our food, led you to this valley, gave you land, and allowed you to grow rich under our protection? Is this not true?" "It is true," John Ferrier answered. "In return, we asked only one thing, that you embrace the true faith and follow its customs. You promised to do so, but reports suggest you have neglected this." "How have I neglected it?" Ferrier asked defensively. "Have I not donated to the common fund? Have I not attended the temple?" "Where are your wives?" Young asked, looking around. "Call them in so I may greet them." "I have not married," Ferrier replied. But women were scarce, and many had better claims than I. I wasn't lonely. I had my daughter to look after me. It is about your daughter that I wish to speak, said the leader. She has become the flower of Utah and has caught the eye of many high-ranking men. Ferrier groaned inwardly. There are stories I would like to disbelieve, stories that she is engaged to some Gentile, non-Mormon. This must be idle gossip. What is the 13th rule of Joseph Smith? Let every maiden of the true faith marry one of the elect, for if she weds a Gentile, she commits a grievous sin. As a believer, you cannot allow your daughter to violate this law. Ferrier said nothing, but he played nervously with his riding whip. Your entire faith will be tested on this one point. The Sacred Council of Four has decided it. Your daughter is young, and we do not wish to force her to marry an old man, nor do we want to deprive her of a choice. We, elders, have many wives, but our sons must also be provided for. Stangerson has a son, and Drebber has a son. Either would gladly welcome your daughter. Let her choose between them. They are young, wealthy, and of the true faith. What do you say to that? Ferrier remained silent, his brow furrowed. Give us time, he said at last. My daughter is very young, hardly of age to marry. She shall have 1 month to choose, Young said, rising. At the end of that time, she must give her answer. He was halfway through the door when he turned back with a flushed face and flashing eyes. It would be better for you, John Ferrier, he thundered, that you both were skeletons on the Sierra Blanco than that you should pit your weak wills against the orders of the Holy Four. With a threatening gesture, he turned and left. Ferrier heard his heavy steps on the path. He sat with his head in his hands, wondering how to tell Lucy, when he felt her hand on his. She had heard everything. I couldn't help it, she sobbed. His voice rang through the house. Oh, Father, what shall we do? Don't you worry, he said, stroking her hair. We'll fix it. Your feelings for that lad haven't changed, have they? Lucy squeezed his hand and sobbed harder. No, of course not. He's a good man and a Christian, which is more than I can say for these people. A group is leaving for Nevada tomorrow. I'll send a message to Jefferson. If I know that young man, he'll be back here faster than a telegraph. Lucy laughed through her tears. But I'm scared for you, Father. Terrible things happen to those who oppose the prophet. We haven't opposed him yet, he said. We have a full month. After that, I think it's time we got out of Utah. Leave Utah? That's the plan. We'll take what money we can and leave the rest. To be honest, Lucy, I've thought about it before. I'm a free-born American, and I'm too old to bow down to any prophet. If he comes snooping around this farm again, he might meet a face full of buckshot. But they won't let us leave, Lucy whispered. Wait until Jefferson gets here. In the meantime, don't fret. Everything will be fine. John Ferrier spoke confidently, but Lucy noticed that he was extra careful when locking the doors that night, and he spent a long time cleaning and loading the old shotgun that hung in his bedroom.